Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, August 5th, 2021. Today we're going to recap yesterday's Major League Baseball games and look ahead to today. Major League Soccer, look back on yesterday's games as well. Olympics, we'll go over all the action from last night and this morning, look ahead to tonight and tomorrow morning. Tonight is the first NFL game of the 2021 preseason. So we'll get into that. It's the annual Hall of Fame game, which we haven't had in a couple of years. Golf, we will go over the leaderboard for the FedEx Invitational that's going on right now. The MLB schedule came out, so I want to get into that. News and notes and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start in Major League Baseball. As we've been doing all summer long, we will go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today. Reds over the Twins 6-5. The Reds 57-51. Minnesota 45-63. Rays over the Mariners 4-3. The Rays are 65-44. Seattle 58-51. Brewers over the Pirates 4-2. The Brewers 65-44, Pittsburgh 41-67. A's over the Padres 5-4-10 on a walk-off 2-run double by Matt Olson. Yankees over the Orioles 10-3. The Yankees are 58-49. Baltimore 38-69. Phillies over the Nationals 9-5. The Phillies are 55-53. The Nats are 49-59. Blue Jays over the Indians 8-6. The Blue Jays, 56-49. Cleveland, 52-53. Red Sox over the Tigers, 4-1. So good bounce back win for the Red Sox. 64-45 on the year. Detroit, 52-58. Mets over the Marlins, 5-3. The Mets, 56-51. The Marlins, 46-62. Braves over the Cardinals, 7-4. The Braves are 54-54. St. Louis, 53-54. Angels over the Rangers 2-1. The Angels are 54-54. Texas is 39-69. Royals over the White Sox 9-1. The Royals are 46-60. Chicago 63-45. Cubs over the Rockies 3-2. The Cubs 52-57. Colorado 47-61. Dodgers over the Astros 7-5. The Dodgers are 65-44. Houston 65-43. And the Giants over the D-backs 7-1. The Giants are 68-40. And the D-backs are 34-75. Looking ahead to today's games, at 12 o'clock you have the Mets against the Marlins, Rich Hill and Braxton Garrett. The favorite in this game is the Mets minus 138. The Marlins are plus 118 over under 8, minus 110 each. Mets minus 1.5 plus 118. Marlins plus 1.5 minus 114. I'm going over 8 minus 110. I think that Rich Hill really hasn't been all that great since coming to the Mets, and Braxton Garrett hasn't pitched that well this year. So I'm going over 8 minus 110. 1 o'clock, the Red Sox and the Tigers. Martin Perez and Tariq Skubal. Red Sox minus 134, Tigers plus 114, over under 9.5, minus 110 each way. Red Sox minus 1.5 plus 125, Tigers plus 1.5 minus 150. I'm going to take a shot with the dog Tigers here. Skubal's just been better than Martin Perez this season. 2 o'clock, you have the Angels and the Rangers. Dylan Bundy and Spencer Howard. Spencer Howard making his Rangers debut. Each team's minus 108, over under 9, overs minus 128, unders plus 104. Angels minus 1.5 is plus 148. Texas plus 1.5 is minus 172. I'm going to go with the Angels on the money line. I don't feel good about it. 3 o'clock, the Cubs and the Rockies. Jake Arrieta and Antonio Senzatella. The Rockies are minus 156. Cubs plus 132, over under 11.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 142. Rockies minus 1.5 is plus 112. Tough one, but I'm going to go under 11.5 at minus 108 because of the futility that is the Cubs offense post the trade deadline. 3:30, the Giants and the Diamondbacks, Alex Wood and Merrill Kelly. The Giants are minus 176. The D-backs are plus 148. Over under 9, minus 110 each way. Giants minus 1.5 is minus 102. D-backs plus 1.5 is minus 118. I'm going over 9, minus 110. 4 o'clock, the Phillies and the Nationals. Aaron Nola and Joe Ross. Phillies minus 152. Nats plus 128. Over under 8.5. Overs minus 114. Unders minus 106. Phillies minus 1.5 is plus 114. Nats plus 1.5 is minus 137. I'm going to go over 8.5 at minus 114. 7 o'clock, you have the Mariners at the Yankees. Tyler Anderson and Nestor Cortez. Yanks minus 230, Seattle plus 190, over under 9.5, overs minus 120, unders minus 102. Mariners plus 1.5 is minus 108, Yanks minus 1.5 is minus 111. I like over 9.5, even though it's minus 120. But the Yankee offense has been on fire. They could do it by themselves. Indians, Blue Jays. Tristan McKenzie and Ross Stripling. Blue Jays minus 200, Indians plus 168, over under 9, overs minus 102, under or minus 122, unders even money. Indians plus 1.5 is minus 115. Blue Jays minus 1.5 is minus 104. I don't feel good about it, but I'm laying the 1.5 with the Blue Jays. Pirates, Reds. Will Crow and Sonny Gray. Reds minus 245, Pirates 2-1, over under 9, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Pirates plus 1.5 is minus 105, Reds minus 1.5 is minus 114. I'm going Reds run line. 8 o'clock, Royals, White Sox. Daniel Lynch and Dallas Keuchel. White Sox minus 215, Royals plus 180, over under 9.5. Overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Royals plus 1.5 is minus 104, White Sox minus 1.5 is minus 115. I'm going to go White Sox run line minus 1.5, minus 115. And last but not least, 8:15, actually no, 2 more. Twins, Astros, Griffin Jackson, Framber Valdez. Astros minus 270, Twins plus 220, over under 9, overs minus 122, unders even money. Twins plus 1.5 is plus 116, Astros minus 1.5 is minus 140. I'm going to go over 9, minus 122. And now 8:15 ESPN, the Braves and the Cardinals, the second night in the row of this matchup being on ESPN. Touki Toussaint and Wade LeBlanc. Braves minus 120, Cardinals plus 102, over under 9, minus 110 each way. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 134, Cardinals plus 1.5 is minus 162. I'm going over 9, minus 110. I don't know who wins, but that's how I feel this game will go. All right, Major League Soccer. We will go over all the games from last night. Nashville, New England, 0-0 draw. Club Football, Montreal, and Atlanta, 2-2 draw. So best bet was a loser. DC United over Columbus, 4-2. Philadelphia over Toronto, 3-0. Chicago, NYCFC, 0-0 draw. Red Bull, Cincinnati, 0-0 draw. Orlando and Miami, 1-1 draw. Boston over Houston, 3-2. Seattle and Dallas, 1-1 draw. Galaxy over Salt Lake, 1-0. Kansas City beats LAFC, 4-1. And Portland and San Jose, 1-1 draw. No MLS games tonight. They'll be back on Saturday, and we will preview and predict the games for Saturday and Sunday on the podcast tomorrow. All right, now we'll do Olympics. We will go over all the action and look ahead to tonight and Friday. So without further ado, here we go with that. Alrighty, soccer. The bronze medal match was today. United States over Australia 4-3. As Megan Rapinoe scored from the corner to give Team USA the bronze. And then tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. is the gold medal match between Sweden and Canada. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. I just feel that Canada has a little bit more talent. So I'm going to say that Canada wins the gold tomorrow morning over Sweden. Now on the men's side, the bronze medal match is tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. between Mexico and Japan. This is going to be an interesting matchup for sure. I think that Mexico is way more talented, but I think Japan could hang with them a little bit. So I'm going to say Mexico wins the bronze tomorrow morning against Japan. Athletics, men's triple jump, getting the gold. Pedro Pichardo of Portugal getting the silver. Zhu Yiming of China getting the bronze. Higua's Fabrice Zongo of Burkina Faso. The men's shot put, getting the gold. Ryan Krauser of the United States getting the silver. Joe Kovacs of U.S. and the bronze, Tom Walsh of New Zealand. The men's 110-meter hurdles, getting the gold. Hansel Parchment of Jamaica. Getting the silver, Grant Holloway of the United States. And getting the bronze, Ronald Levy of Jamaica. The men's 20-kilometer walk, getting the gold. Massimo Stano of Italy getting the silver. Koki Akita of Japan and getting the bronze. Toshikazu Yamanishi of Japan. The women's pole vault, getting the gold. Katie Naget of U.S. getting the silver. Anzelika Sidorova of ROC and getting the bronze. Holly Bradshaw of Great Britain. And then with the baseball semifinal, U.S. over South Korea 7-2 as the United States advances to the gold medal game as they'll take on Japan on Saturday morning. So we'll pick both the bronze medal game and the gold medal game on the podcast tomorrow. Men's semifinals in basketball completed. United States over Australia 97-78. Australia had a good first half, and the United States literally just took over the rest of the game and showed everybody why they're the most talented squad of the Olympics, led by Kevin Durant. And then France over Slovenia, 90-89. The game ended on a block by Nick Batum to put France in the gold medal game. So the gold medal game will be tomorrow night, 10:30, between France and the United States, and the bronze medal game will be Slovenia and Australia on Saturday morning. We will preview and pick those games on the show tomorrow. And then tonight at 12:40 a.m., we have the semifinals between the United States and Serbia in the women's. U.S. is going to kill it. They're the way better team, led by all the great stars of the WNBA. And then tomorrow at 7 a.m. between Japan and France. I think the French team's a little bit better. So I'm going to say that just like with the men's side, we'll have U.S.-France in the finals on the women's side. And the gold medal game will be Saturday night And the bronze medal game will be early Saturday morning for women's basketball. Beach volleyball semifinals. Austria defeats Latvia 2-0 to advance to the final. The United States defeated Switzerland 2-0 to advance to the final. So, the bronze medal match for the women will be tonight between Latvia and Switzerland. I think Switzerland's more talented, so I think Switzerland will win the bronze. And then on the other side, Australia and United States. I like U.S. tonight to take home the gold in the women's beach volleyball final. And then the men's semifinal today completed. ROC defeats Qatar 2-0, and Norway defeats Latvia 2-0. We'll pick that final on the podcast tomorrow. And then we got boxing. Women's lightweight semifinal completed as Beatriz Soares of Brazil defeats Mira Pakkinen 5-0 to move on to the final. And Pakkinen will take home a bronze. And Kelly Harrington of Ireland defeats Siddharth Sisandi of Thailand 3-2 to move on to the final. And Sisandi takes home a bronze. The men's flyweight semifinal completed. Galal Yafai of Great Britain over Sakin Babasanov of Pakistan 3-2. As Yafai moves on to the finals, Bib Nisov takes home the bronze. And Carlo Palam of the Philippines defeats Rame Tanaka of Japan 5-0 to move on to the final in boxing. The men's K1 200 meter getting the gold. Sandor Tatka of Hungary getting the silver. Mafride Riza of Italy and getting the bronze. Liam Heath of Great Britain. The women's C1 200 meter getting the gold. Nevin Harrison of U.S. getting the silver. Lawrence Vincent Laponte of Canada and getting the bronze. Lumila Luzon of the Ukraine. The women's 10-meter platform final getting the gold. Quan Hongchang of China getting the silver. Chen Yizi of China and getting the bronze. Melissa Wu of Australia. Women's golf round 2 completed. Handball semifinals. Denmark over Spain 27-23 and France over Egypt 27-23 as it'll be France and Denmark in the final. Men's field hockey. Gold. Belgium over Australia. It came down to the penalty shots. 3-2 in penalty shots, but a 1-1 game. And then India comes away with a 5-4 victory over Germany to take home the bronze. Women's kata. The final bout. Sandra Sanchez over Kayu Shimizu for the gold. As Sanchez takes home the gold and Shimizu takes home silver. Viviana Bataro over Sakura Kakamai for the bronze. Italy had Bataro and then Kakamai from the U.S. And then Grace Lau of Hong Kong defeats Dilara Bozan of Turkey for the other bronze. The men's Kamiite, 67 kilogram. Stephen DaCosta over Iray Sadman, 5-0. As DaCosta takes home the gold and Samdan takes home the silver. Marathon swimming. Men's 10 kilometer. Taking the gold. Florian Wellbrock of Germany getting the silver. Krzysztof Rozovsky of Hungary and getting the bronze. Gregorio Palzinieri of Italy. Men's park final for skateboarding getting the gold. Keegan Palmer of Australia getting the silver. Pedro Barros of Brazil and getting the bronze. Corey Juneau of the U.S. We talked soccer already. That's what we opened with today. Sport climbing, men's combined. Getting the gold. Alberto Gens Lopez of Spain. Getting the silver. Nathaniel Coleman of U.S. and getting the bronze. Jacob Sherbert of Austria. Table tennis women's. China over Japan 3-0 for the gold. And Japan takes home the silver. And in Hong Kong over Germany 3-1 as Hong Kong takes home the bronze. Track cycling final. Women's Korean. Getting the gold. Shanae Ramakskinis of the Netherlands getting the silver. Elise Andrews of New Zealand and getting the bronze. Lorraine Jeunesse of Canada. In the men's omnium, the points race completed. The gold, Matthew Wells of Great Britain. Silver, Campbell Stewart of New Zealand and getting the bronze. Ilya Viviani of Italy. Men's volleyball semifinal, France over Argentina 3-0 and ROC over Brazil 3-1. Water polo. Semifinal, Spain over Hungary 8-6. This is women's, by the way. The 8th place, Australia over Canada 14-12. U.S. over ROC 15-11. And then that was the semifinal. And then the 8th, Netherlands over China 13-6. So it's going to be Spain versus U.S. for the gold. Hungary against ROC for the bronze. Australia over Netherlands for 5th. And Canada, China for 7th. Wrestling, men's freestyle 57 kilogram. Getting the gold. Zor Yugovev over Ravi Kumar Daya, 7-4. Yugev of ROC and then Kumar Daya of India. And getting the bronze was Thomas Gilman over Reza Atri, 9-1. Obviously Gilman of US and Atri of Iran. And then getting the other bronze was Nuraslam Sanyev of Kakistan as he defeats Georgi Vangelov of Belargia 5-1. In the men's freestyle 86 kilogram, getting the gold was David Taylor of the U.S. over Hassan Yazdini of Iran 4-3 as Yazdani takes home the silver. Bronze medal match, Miles Amin of San Marino over Deepak Punia of India 4-2. And the other bronze medal match, Atur Nafanov of ROC over Javril Shaprev of Uzbekistan 2-0. All right, now tonight's stuff. We did basketball and soccer and baseball. As we covered, those are the big ones. So women's team artistic swimming final tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. You have the men's 50-kilometer walk final today at 4:30. The women's 20-kilometer walk tonight at 3:30 a.m. We did basketball already. Beach volleyball finals tonight at 9 o'clock. We covered that already as well. Boxing, women's middleweight semifinal tonight at 1 o'clock a.m. You got Lauren Price of Great Britain and Nauchka Funchen of Netherlands. I think that Price will advance. And the semifinal number 2 is Zemfira Magmadalvia of ROC and Li Quan of China. I'm going to go with Magmadalvia of ROC to advance. Men's lightweight semifinal at 1:30 a.m. tonight. You got Kayshawn Davis of the U.S. and Hans Bakov of Armenia. We're going to go with Davis in that one. And then the other one, you have Andy Cruz of Cuba and Harry Garside of Australia. I'm going to go with Garside to move on. And the men's heavyweight final is at 2 a.m. Eastern tonight. Muslim Gatsimgandabov of ROC and Julio Cesar de la Cruz of Cuba. I'm going to go with Julio Cesar de la Cruz of Cuba to win the gold medal tonight. Canoe sprint, multiple rounds tonight at 8:30. The women's C2 500 meter and the men's C1 1,000 meter. The men's 10 meter platform for diving is tomorrow or tonight. Equestrian is tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Team jumping qualifying. The women's golf final is today at 6:30. Handball semifinals tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. France and Sweden and Norway and ROC. I'm going to say that France and ROC will meet up for the gold in handball women's. Women's field hockey finals tonight. The bronze medal match, Great Britain and India. I'm going to say Great Britain takes home the bronze, and the gold medal match at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning between the Netherlands and Argentina. I'm going to go with the Netherlands for the gold. Men's kata final tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. And the women's Q-Mite 61 kilogram is tomorrow at 7 o'clock a.m. Modern pentathlon. The women's pentathlon laser run is tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. And the women's pentathlon before the laser run is at 1:30. Individual all-around qualifying for rhythmic gymnastics women's is tonight at 9:20. We did soccer already. Sport climbing. Women's final is tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning. Table tennis final is tonight for the men's. The gold medal match is tomorrow at some point between China and Germany. We'll say that Germany will win the gold, and the bronze is tonight between South Korea and Japan. I'm going to say that South Korea will win that. Track cycling, you have the women's Madison tomorrow at 4:15 a.m. And in volleyball semifinals tomorrow between Serbia and the United States for women's volleyball, and then Brazil and South Korea. I'm going to say the United States defeats Serbia, and then on the other side, I'm going to say that South Korea defeats Brazil. So you have a gold medal between U.S. and South Korea in women's volleyball. Water polo, men's tomorrow at 1 a.m. 5th, 8th place, Montenegro and Croatia. I'm going to say Croatia will win that one. Then Greece and Hungary in the semis. I'm going to say that, let's go with Greece. Let's go with a different team to advance here. In the 5th, 8th place, Italy and U.S. I'm going to say that U.S. wins that. And then at 6:50 a.m. tomorrow, semifinal between Serbia and Spain. We'll go with Serbia. So we're going to have a different final between Greece and Serbia for men's water polo. And in Spain and Hungary will be for the bronze. Croatia, U.S. for 5th. And Montenegro and Italy for 7th. And then tomorrow we have the men's freestyle 74 kilogram for wrestling. And the men's freestyle 125 kilograms for wrestling as well. So we'll go over all those results on the podcast for tomorrow. The NFL is back tonight as the preseason kicks off in the Hall of Fame game between the Steelers and the Cowboys. I don't do projections for the preseason, but there's a lot of subplots to watch here. To me, Dwayne Haskins is somebody that we got to keep our eyes on for a second chance. Maybe He'll give Steelers fans and the organization hope to be the long-term replacement for Ben Roethlisberger. A change of scenery out of Washington could do him wonders and could potentially turn his career around. Cowboys, I don't think we'll see Dak Prescott tonight because of the injuries. I don't think we'll see him the entire preseason. If you ask me, if I'm the Cowboys, I don't play him in the preseason. Maybe one snap of the dress rehearsal game. And obviously all the rookies on each side, like we might see Micah Parsons tonight. We'll see Najee Harris maybe tonight. Among the other rookies that those two teams respectively drafted. If you had to guess who's the favorite in this game, I think it wouldn't surprise me. But I probably would say the line's 1, and I'd say the team that's favored is probably Pittsburgh. But I won't be surprised if Dallas is favored in this spot. So, the Steelers are 2-point favorites. Minus 135 on the money line. Cowboys are plus 110. Totals 32.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. The total seems just about right. If I had to make a pick, I'd lay the 2 with the Steelers. I just think the line is sort of low. I think that Haskins will play well. The Steelers have some promising young players on their offensive line that they could potentially trot out in this game. I think Najee Harris will have a big day on the ground. So give me the Steelers minus 2 tonight in the Hall of Fame game against the Dallas Cowboys. All right, golf. We will now look at the leaderboard for the St. Jude FedEx WJC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. We have a very early leaderboard because it just got underway. Joaquim Herman and Kyung-Hoo Lee are in an early tie with 1 under. And then Siwoo Kim, Ryu's Kanashida, Wade Omsbury, and Robert Streber in an even tie for 3rd. Coming up at 10:26, Phil Mickelson, Cam Champ, Adam Scott, Matt Fitzpatrick, 10:37, Victor Hovland. We're just going through notables, guys. Caleb Ortiz, Luis Olson, Kevin Ott, Paul Casey, Patrick Cantlay. 10:48, Abraham Ancer, Bryson DeChambeau, Matt Wolff, Dustin Johnson, who's my pick. Ryan Palmer, Cam Smith. 10:48, Bryson DeChambeau. Oh, no, he did that group already. 10:59, Scotty Scheffler, Stuart Sink, Corey Connors, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Brooks Koepka. 11:10, Daniel Berger, Sanjay M, Matt Jones, Mark Leishman, Tommy Fleetwood, Jason Kokrak. 11:21, Walter Zalatoris, Victor Perez, Brian Harmon. 11:32, Brett Horschel, Lucas Glover, Tyrell Hatton, Patrick Reed. 11:43, Kyle Morikwa, Sergio Garcia, Kevin Kisner, Hideki Matsuyama, Harry English. 11:54, Xander Schauffele, Cam Davis, Justin Thomas, Justin Rose, Ian Poulter. 12:05, Joaquin Neiman, Shane Lowry, Lee Westwood, Webb Simpson, and Tony Finau. All right, so the MLB schedule came out yesterday for 2022. I like talking about this kind of schedule on the podcast solely because of the interleague matches and return games and whatnot. So you have, in terms of interleague play, the American League East will play the NL Central. So Anthony Rizzo will play the Cubs. You have the AL Central playing the NL West. And you have the NL East playing the AL West. So there's potential World Series preview / rematches in play, like Dodgers White Sox. That could be the World Series this year. And that could be a World Series preview of next year. And same for Padres White Sox. Giants White Sox could be the World Series this year, conceivably, amazingly enough. Red Sox Brewers could be a sleeper World Series this year, and that could be a good matchup next year. Yankees Brewers. Rays Brewers. Braves Astros could be the 2022 World Series with Ronald Acuna back. Mets Astros could be the 2022 World Series with that team potentially going to be better. Obviously, Max Scherzer's return to Washington, unless if that could potentially happen this year. Just want to check that for a moment. Dodgers versus Nationals. Yeah, they already played there this year, so Max Scherzer back to DC next year at some point. Could very well be with another team. It could very well be with the Dodgers as well. Trey Turner back in DC, obviously, because he's under team control. And the other thing about Rizzo is that he might not even be on the Yankees beyond this year. But let's say he resigns with the Yankees, so it could be Anthony Rizzo against the Cubs. Obviously, the Giants play the Cubs next year. So the San Francisco Giants go back to Wrigley in September, so Chris Bryant's return to Wrigley is going to be this year. And Javier Baez's return to Citi Field or to Wrigley could be at some point next year too, assuming he stays with the Mets. I assume that some of those guys will stay with their respective teams and sign extensions. Craig Kimbrell's in a contract year. Who knows if he'll still be with the White Sox. The Blue Jays and the Twins, have they played each other this year yet? No, so Barrios' return to Minnesota is going to be this year too. So, that's something to watch. But more and more of this stuff becomes clearer with free agency and whatnot. And I just like to talk about like the interleague matches, and then obviously you have the annual interleague matches like Mets, Yankees, Angels, Dodgers, White Sox, Cubs, Phillies, Red Sox, Nationals, Orioles, Rays, Marlins, Blue Jays, Braves. Brewers, Twins is annually. Reds, Indians is annually. Cardinals, Royals is annually. And then the Tigers play Pittsburgh every year, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the other side, we mentioned Angels, Dodgers. Usually it's the Padres. The A's and the Giants play each other every year. Diamondbacks, Rangers, I want to say, is the interleague rivalry that they play every year. I think Seattle plays the Padres every year. And I'm usually good at this kind of stuff. I think it's Dodgers, Angels for sure. A's, Giants for sure. I think it's Rangers, Diamondbacks, Astros, Rockies, and Mariners, Padres every year. And then, like I said, with the other divisions, I nailed all of them because I'm usually smart with this kinds of stuff with interleague games and whatnot. All right, news and notes very quickly. Not a lot of stuff to get to because we did a lot of Olympics already in the MLB schedule. And I just wanted to separate some of that. So the big story this morning, the New York Knicks and Julius Randle agreed to a 4-year, $117 million contract extension. I think there's pros and cons of this. He's going to be making almost $30 million a year, based off his most improved player of the year season that he just had. So it takes away some potential turmoil of an extension not getting signed. So they took care of their most improved player of the year. And there's an opt-out after the 3rd year of the extension. The cons of this is, like, what if Randle was a 1-year wonder? That's my biggest fear with this extension. Was Julius Randle a 1-year wonder? We've seen 1-year wonders pop in the NBA before. Or is he a C.J. McConnell type of second-tier player? That's my question I have with Julius Randle. Is he C.J. McCollum, which is a second-tier player, which is not bad. C.J. McCollum's making this kind of money as well. Or was he a 1-year wonder? So we're going to find out this year. And luckily for Randle, he has a great coach in Tom Thibodeau, who I think is the sole reason why his defensive game improved so dramatically. And his passing game has improved so dramatically, as Thibs kind of used him like how he used Joakim Noah in Chicago. So I can understand where the improvement's coming from, and the case for him to not decline in the beginning of this extension is the case I made of Thibodeau, and how he just works you till you fall apart, essentially. So I think the Knicks had to do this just to secure themselves an asset long term, especially after the year he had last year. I feel like this had to get done. And for their sake, at least this isn't a bird hanging over the team coming into the 2021-22 season. And the New York Knicks also signed Kemba Walker to an $8 million a year contract. I want to say it's a 2-year deal, maybe an opt-out after one. I think it's a really nice signing for the Knicks. He's an upgrade over Elfrid Payton in their starting lineup. So it's going to be Kemba, R.J. Barrett, Evan Fournier, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson as their starting 5. But there's some speculation out there is that they're not high on Mitchell Robinson. And it's why they signed Nerlens Noel to that contract. So we'll see what happens with Mitchell Robinson. He's been very injury prone, so I can understand why there's hesitation about him sticking around long term with the Knicks. And Nerlens Noel had a career year last year. So we'll see if he lives up to that contract or not, and see what happens with Mitchell Robinson for the Knicks. So it's going to be interesting, obviously. And I don't even think they're a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference. I talked about this on the podcast yesterday. They have a better roster than they did a year ago because of the additions of Fournier and Kemba, but I don't think they're a top 6 team in the East. I'm sorry. They're bound for the play-in tournament, barring like weird injuries like this past year. Because they're not better than the big 3 of Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philly. Atlanta's better than them. Miami's better than them. Boston, I'd say, is kind of on their tier. At the moment, Indiana's better than them. But they could get worse if they trade Brogdon. And you have the Bulls, who vastly improved themselves with the signings of Lonzo Ball and DeMar DeRozan, and then Vucevic there a full year, so they're improved. So I hate to break it, but the Knicks to me are bound to the play-in tournament, barring some trades and injuries. So, good job on the Knicks for extending Randall and pulling off the Kemba Walker thing. So, but it's not guaranteed them a top 6 seed in the East. Danny Green re-signs with the Sixers, 2 years, $20 million. Good signing by the Sixers. I think Danny Green is a good shooter, big game player, and he fits in with that team. Max Scherzer, after his Dodgers debut, gets a curtain call as the crowd went wild after his 10 strikeout debut against the Astros. Kyle Lowry had a nice thank you to Toronto, and he says, "Thank you, Toronto. Thank you, Canada. This will forever be home." Obviously, Lowry got traded there almost a decade ago. It sounds crazy. Had all the success with the Raptors, wins the title, and now he's with the Heat. So that was a nice letter from Kyle Lowry. Jackson Hayes' arrest video was released on TMZ, and the LAPD is investigating if excessive force was used. So we got to keep an eye out on this story. LeBron James calls out the Laker doubters. Keep that same narrative energy when it begins, he says, because the LA roster is old, as I talked about on the podcast, but I still think they are the team to beat in the Western Conference. The Raiders signed Gerald McCoy to deal with the Raiders after an impressive workout. So he brings much needed depth to their defensive line. Anthony Rendon done for the season to get surgery to repair his hip injury. And he's in the year 2 of that big money contract he signed with the Angels. Wow. I mean, that's a big loss for the Angels, for their offense, but they're really not going anywhere this year. The AAC denied collusion rumors, as Mike Oresco says he has never plotted to add Big 12 teams to the conference in the wake of the Texas-Oklahoma saga. So, like I said, a short news and notes today, and now we'll go to Best Bet, which is presented to you by FanDuel. I don't know where to go with Best Bet for tonight. But now that the Angels-Rangers over is down to 9 at minus 114, that's where I'm going to go. With my best bet for tonight. All right, so there you have it for the show. And by the way, I laid a quarter unit. We'll be back tomorrow with everything from the Olympics, Hall of Fame game, Major League Baseball. Look at everything from the weekend, including Major League Soccer and the return of NASCAR after a couple-week hiatus. And obviously news and notes and my best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.